The question is simple. What's in your bag? Let's talk about it. What's up, YouTube? It's your boy, Skinny Hardaway, and this is Retro Heat Check. Checking in one more time for the real hoop heads out there. As always, very appreciative of everything that you guys do for the channel, the likes, the shares, the subscriptions, the comments. I mean, even from you nameless, faceless fanboys, appreciate you as well, even though you will never get any shine over here. We definitely appreciate your participation, though. Definitely. Man, as always, as I always say, man, Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither will this channel. But I must say, I am blown away by the growth that has been taking place already. I mean, we're already closing in on 220 subscribers. That's crazy. It just seems like by the day, it's like a steady growth. It's a steady progression, and it's all thanks to you guys, man. It's like I get so many messages of encouragement, and I mean, it's just, man, it empowers me. It further empowers me. So thank you all. Another thing that empowers me is my squad, the squad that I have joined and became a part of, basically. Even though I kind of call it the squad, that's the only way I could describe us. But the fellas, man, that continue to stand up and kill these narratives, and what I'm saying, you guys follow a lot of these guys. You guys rocking with these channels. If you don't follow these channels, excuse me, are definitely in tune with me. These are channels that I check out. These are channels that I support and I'm subscribed to, and I hope that you guys do the same. Channels like Sports and Fitness Rants, my brother. Uncommon Sense, shout outs to you, man. I heard you. I was at work working, and I heard you shout me out on the video, on your latest video, and man, it was such a bug out. I stopped in my tracks because I was just stunned. And that further, you're further empowering me, man, to keep it going, all you fellas. So Uncommon Sense, shout outs to you. Scap Attack, Too Raw for Sports TV, Uncut Hoops, Angry O Hoops, MJ Fans Are the Best, NNB Sports, shout outs to you, bro. Kobe Bryant Film Room, Geechee Life Sports Talk. Check out my brother, man. This brother is a good brother, man. Definitely check him out. He's on the come up. Check him out. Prince Sports, another good brother. Phenomenal Fitness, that's my guy. Dreamers Pro TV, Ticket TV, those are the big dogs, man. And anybody else who I may have forgotten along the way, please don't take it as a diss. I'm just trying to just shout out those that just come to fresh into my mind. But shout outs to you all, you guys. I stand on you guys' shoulders. I stand on the shoulders of you guys, man. You guys gave me the batter. You gave me the juice to step up and step out. And here I am. Thank you. And here we are in the Hoophead Haven. And speaking of the Hoophead Haven, you already know what time it is, y'all. You already know what time it is, my hoop heads. It's time to open up them doors. It's time for us to welcome in. Come on in. Come on in. It's time for us to welcome the newest members of the Hoophead Haven. Shout outs to Viper0683, Rory Slane, Elio Medina, Billy Wayne, and Wes Warren. Shout outs to all you guys. And like I say, I humbly thank you for taking a chance on me. And in return, I welcome you to the Hoophead Haven. Oh, man. Let's get down to it. The subject of today was inspired by my brother, Uncommon Sense. He did a video not long ago about LeBron James on his podcast with JJ Redick, and how he was mad about the fact that that people use their bags, and how it pisses him off, and all this stuff, and the consensus from all of us. I mean, we're just like, bro, you're just mad because you don't have a bag, and a lot of people, and it just got me to thinking. A lot of people like to say the word bag and all that stuff, and it got me to thinking, like, what is in your bag? What is in a player's bag? What is it? Because I feel like a lot of people, especially a lot of the young people, they feel like their bag is your dribble package, with the cross, tween, snatch, and all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? The fillets, the jellies, all that stuff. Your layup packages and stuff. But it goes beyond that. It goes beyond just dribbling. And it goes beyond layups and dunk packages and all that stuff. That's not what the bag totally consists of. That is, I believe, a big part of it. Your ability to get to the hoop through various ways. It may be through your dribbling. It may be through the fact that you can maneuver the ball in between traffic or whatever. That is part of your bag. I mean, and those are important skills that help a player become his best and maximizes his skills. But it goes beyond that. And a lot of people say, MJ didn't have a bag. Players in the 90s didn't have no bag. The bag. It was just set shots, and it was just set shots and screens and people fighting underneath the basket. And I was like, it's far from the truth, because there are so many assets that go inside your bag that just go beyond the more flashier parts of the game. And it's things such as, and I'm just going to just keep this video as short as possible, because I mean, we can go all day with the examples, but I'll just lay down a few examples of of things that are part of a bag that the average NBA fan, and particularly a lot of the fans today, wouldn't even recognize, because you don't see it in today's game that often. I would say, just for instance, Reggie Miller. Reggie Miller had a lot in his bag besides just a 3-point shot. And as an example, I think a very key point in his bag was his ability to run you ragged through a million screens, and you don't think of that as something, a bag. But if you see how Reggie Miller was able to utilize his endurance, and recognizing the fact that he wasn't the biggest, he wasn't the strongest, he wasn't the fastest, he had absolutely no athletic ability. The only thing that he did have is he had crazy endurance, and he had a super fast release, and an accurate 3-point shot. So he was able to utilize the simple fact of his endurance, the endurance factor in his bag, quote unquote, to the ability for him to run all around the court. in particular along that baseline, and you're running into both the Davis boys and Rick Smith's picks, and he's maneuvering through, he's running you right through them, and you're eating those, and you may be fighting over the screens, you may fight underneath the screen, whatever you're trying to do to get to stay with Reggie. A lot of times, once you fought over that screen, ball's already in the air. And more than likely, it's already in, because with Reggie Miller, his quick release, he only needed just a moment of space. And he was hitting that thing, right? He was hitting that thing right in your face and probably talking trash to you along the way. I consider that a bag. I can go back to Dennis Rodman in The Last Dance, how he was able to diagnose and break down shooting, saying shots, and the angle of how the ball comes off the rim, and how he was able to read the angles and the directions of where the ball was going to go, and he was there right there for the rebound, and just the way that he broke it down, he almost sounded like a professor. And I was just like, wow, that is a key part of his bag. That was something that hell, I never even would have thought of that. To have, it was so cool to be in tuned in I think that Dennis Rodman is a basketball savant as far as especially on the defensive side of the ball. So to hear him describe, for him to describe how he approaches just rebounding, that approach, I would consider that part of his bag, because that skill, although it was a skill that most of us never even thought of, it was a skill that actually helped him establish himself as one of the greatest rebounders of all time. Just the simple fact that he was able to break down mentally something as simple as angles and trajectories, and for him to, for him to be able to decipher all that and decode all that, and be able to grab the rebound, and the way that he would position his body when he would play defense. Because for him to be able to literally guard 1 through 5, that is a bag. That is a skill within. That is a bag basically within itself. That is a skill that you add into that bag, because of the simple fact that he was super athletic, cat-like quick reflexes, especially with his feet. His feet was so fast. A lot of people don't understand. A lot of people, just see the antics and stuff. But Dennis Rodman, man, he was very purposeful in his movements in a lot of ways, especially, when he's defending. Every time that he would, when he would lower his center of gravity to basically cement him to the court, so a guy like Shaquille O'Neal can't even bowl him over. That is a skill. That is a skill. That is something that was in his bag only, because Dennis Rodman was able to lock down and befuddle so many guys who were bigger than him, supposedly bigger, taller, stronger, faster. But because Dennis Rodman was a freak within himself, alongside with the mentality that was almost professorial, as far as how he could break down angles, break down, weaknesses on defense, his foot placement, his movement, it just led to him to become one of the greatest defenders in NBA history. That right there, my friends, is a bag. I feel that is a bag. That is something that is a skill beyond what you may see on your, what gets put on the highlight reels, I guess you could say. But the main thing I could say when it comes down to, I use those two as example. Hakeem Olajuwon, that was a serious bag he had. He was like a quantum leap as far as centers. Because his footwork alone was a bag within itself, because there was literally, once he got going, he would put you in blenders. He would put you in the blender so fast, because his footwork was so on point, so precise. You know, it was like I described earlier in my top 5 video. He was like a Baryshnikov. I mean, he was literally dancing out there. His footwork was so immaculate, and when he would get down there on that block, and he would show you, he would face up. In the simple fact that he could face up and show you the dribbles, show you the dream shake, show you the up and unders, the fakes, the ball fakes, the spins, the dips, all that. I mean, that right there, just his skill set alone was just one big moving bag, quote unquote. He was a embodiment of the big man bag. He encapsulated that. He perfected it. I think to this day, and I ask fanboys, I ask other critics of the 80s and 90s basketball. I always ask them, when they describe the big men, I always ask them, is there a big man that has the skill set of a Hakeem Olajuwon? And I normally get crickets. I normally get silence, because they know that Hakeem Olajuwon, when it comes to the big man, he was a walking bag. He could face up. He could turn left. He could turn right. He could shoot. He had the shoot. He had the shot selection. Perfect shot selection from inside that small confined space. You know what I'm saying? It was he could shoot over the right shoulder, shoot over the left shoulder. I mean, he could blow right by you. He could shoot. He could jump over you. I mean, there were so many ways that he could just pretty much break down and deconstruct a defense on the block, and he can extend it out 15 to 18 feet. The man could shoot. I mean, the man was a literal cheat code in the 90s for big man. I mean, there was nobody like him, and I still feel that there's nobody like him today. I mean, there are close contenders. They may have players that have pieces of his game, but the whole total package, that total bag, quote unquote, that is Hakeem Olajuwon. That is Hakeem Olajuwon by a mile, by miles. He's ahead. Bag. But we're going to come down to the finale of this, and here we go. Once again, we gotta differentiate between LeBron and Jordan. The bagless one versus the immortal bag, the GOAT bag. The bagless one versus the GOAT bag. The bagless one, the man, Kwame Brown. Shout outs to him, Kwame Brown. He, despite what you may think of his NBA career or whatever, this is a 12-year NBA vet. This dude is a supposed bust. He lasts longer in the league than actual bust, and he's been around some of the greatest players in the game's history, such as MJ and Kobe. But I mean, he took a lot of heat last year in the West after the Western Conference Finals, when he basically just came out and said what we already knew, that LeBron James has no go-to move. He has no bag. He has no skill set on the offensive side of the ball that will make you say, hey, we can't let LeBron do A. We can't let LeBron do B, and we can't let LeBron do C. We can't let him do these things. Many times when you see LeBron James get the ball out there on the perimeter, and most defenders won't even come out and guard him. They will allow him to shoot that shot, and him having the ball, looking at the ball and shooting a three. That's not a bag. It's not a bag, bro. The only skill set that he really has is running at the top of the key, full head of steam, head down, shoulder down, offhand out with the forearm, ready to shove somebody out the way for another layup or a dunk or a putback or whatever. That is the extension of his bag. There's nowhere on the floor in which that you have to really say, where a coach will tell you and say, we can't let LeBron James get on this side we can't let him get to this spot. We can't let him get to his spots. Where's his spots? He has no spots. His spots is either the 3-point line or 3 feet in front of the basket. That wide, vast area in between, it's hit or miss. And it's more than likely missed because, I mean, he doesn't even shoot 40% from the floor. And I mean, this is what, the second time that he's even shot 40% from 3. So it's like, you're dealing with a dude who really is not a shooter. And people get so mesmerized by, I don't know, I guess his forays to the basket that is considered a bag. But let me tell you what really is a bag before we shut this all down. And it all goes back to the GOAT. Like I said, the GOAT bag. This is the GOAT bag. There is nowhere on the floor that Michael Jordan could not go, could not score from. He could score from the 3. He could score from, everybody knows about, everybody knows about the mid-range, crazy. Everybody knows about, once he goes in the lane, he's at the cup. You already know something freaky is about to happen. A freaky layup, or he's just going to go head on and just dunk on your whole squad if he needs to. There are certain places on the floor in which Michael Jordan was extra, you know what I'm saying? You were extra cautious of keeping him away from, because his bag was so vast. Part of his bag was, I would say the greatest part of Michael Jordan's bag was consistency. Consistency is the greatest thing of Michael Jordan's bag, if you ask me, quote unquote, the bag. I think he was consistent in everything that he done. So because of that consistency, that's what made him great. That's what made him the most dangerous basketball player ever. Is because he could consistently get to his spot and consistently hit those shots. Yes, he could dunk on your whole team in various ways. Yes, Michael Jordan can get to the lane and switch hands, spectacular moves. He's hanging in the air. He's showing you one thing. He's showing you another. He can fillet it. He was doing all that stuff before it was basically common today. But at that time, I mean, it was so ahead of his time, you didn't even know what to call it. But the consistency was the most important attribute of his bag. Was just the simple fact that he was just consistent. And there were certain spots on the floor where he was consistently proficient. And I think that was part of his bag as well, is the simple fact that once he got to that spot, more than likely he was going to hit the shot. He could get to a spot, and it was up to you as the opposing coach, as the opposing player, to stop him from that spot. And where was that spot at that he was the most, in my opinion, and if you just go back and look, I think that the most, in my opinion, I definitely believe that the most important spot, the most dangerous spot for Michael Jordan to be at on the court was the elbows. Elbow extended. Right there, that was his sweet spot. From the elbow, from elbow to elbow, free throw line extended. Right there in that area. Right there within that area. For those who don't know what the elbows are, for those who may not know, because there are some who may not know, the elbow is basically the two angles. If you look at the paint, the top of the paint, where the free throw line is, the right corners, the top right and left corners, that is what you're considered the elbow. And if you think about Michael Jordan and you think about some of his most famous shots, they come from this area. Okay, his first game winner ever as an NBA player versus Indiana, when he came down with, game was tied, and he came down with probably about 6-7 seconds left, came down, got elbow right there to the elbow, came right there on that right elbow, raised up, ball bounces around, drops in, game over. Or the game winner versus Milwaukee, where he gets the the Milwaukee player tries to save it out of bounds, he steals it, comes down, gives a little in and out, gives a little in and out. Where? Around the elbow. Swish. Game over. It's time to go. The Shot versus Cleveland. The Shot Part 1. Where was he at after he he fought to get open, gets the ball? Where does he go? He's heading towards the elbow. Elbow free throw line extended. Jumps up, hangs. Craig Ehlo jumps. Craig Ehlo ascends. He still hangs in the air. Gives it a little double pump. Swish. Get him out of here. Go home. All the way to his final shot with the Chicago Bulls. Once again, where is he at? He starts off from the elbow, free throw line extended. He comes up after he gets the clutch steal. He comes down, no timeouts. He comes down. You know what I'm saying? We all know the play. He comes down. He laws. What was more important, and that's another part of his bag, was the simple fact that he could do subtle, because of the fact that people would react to every move that Michael Jordan made. That's why when you would see him throw out the little ball fakes, people would go for him, because they would react to every movement of that Michael Jordan would make. Because when Michael Jordan moved, it was with purpose. So as he's coming across that free throw line extended, and he's lulling him to sleep. That's what I'm saying. Their reaction. So that was his reaction. He's lulling Byron Russell to sleep, lulling him to sleep. And you can see Byron kind of lax up. And eventually he's edging his way to elbow, free throw line extended. That area. Lulls him to sleep. Lulls him. And then right then and there, he strikes. Cross. No push off. Excuse you. Hangs. Swish. Championship. Number 6. That right there is the very definition of a complete bag, the GOAT bag. The simple fact of the matter that Michael Jordan has, no matter the simple fact that, even despite the fact that he has the ability to go anywhere on the court, that spot that he was especially deadly from, I feel that is one of the assets in his bag. But the consistency to get there to that spot every time, the consistency to, no matter what it is, whether it's minute 8 is first quarter, or 30 or 3 seconds left in the ball game, the simple fact that he can pull up and let it go from his spot, I mean, he made a career out of it. And that right there is my opinion of what the true bag really is. If you feel it, if you feel that, I hope that you do. But that is my interpretation of the situation. Shout out to Andre 3 Stacks. And that's where the video is going to end. Once again, thank you all for sitting down, chilling with me. I know that these videos sometimes get a little bit long. It's kind of like a stream of consciousness type of deal. I just go with what comes to my mind, and I just let it go. So some videos will be longer than others. I try to be a little bit more shorter on some of them, but you already know it's 100% me at all times. So thank you all for chilling with me. You already know what it is. Hoop heads, you already know. Shout outs to all my hoop heads, man. Hoop heads only. You know the motto. You know the slogan. Hoop heads only. That's all I want around me. That's all that I need around me. It's real hoop heads. Come join the community. Let's grow this thing. Let's continue to kick these narratives in the ass. And become, and become what we need to become. And that is one basketball community, united. Doesn't matter your race, creed, color, religion, whatever. We all gonna come together and we all talk hoops. You already know what it is. It's your boy, Skinny Hardaway. Boy, I almost forgot my name. It's your boy, Skinny Hardaway. Checking out one more time for the real hoop heads. Another episode of Retro Heat Check is in the books. And as I always say to all my hoop heads, peace and wear your sneakers.